morning. It is 6 something in the morning. I don't even like talking in the morning, but I say, you know what? This could be reading Rainbow with Marina in the mornings on my way to work. I'm on the highway. Look, it's like nothing but road. And I've been driving on road like this for the last hour. I'm tired. I gotta make some moves because it's not working out for me. But anyway, so what is it? Some people had asked me to, do like different types of videos other than just like uploading animals, because that's what I'm good at with the animal stuff. And they think that other topics that I talk about could be good too. So I don't know. You guys can let me know. But I want to just talk about try to be real quick about effective communication. I've noticed that in this country is really bad with effective communication and follow through. They're really bad. Like I noticed, like watching people, a lot of people don't know how to communicate. They really don't. And we know this, but we don't really think about it. And a lot of times, a lot of us don't do anything about it. We just like to complain a lot. And it's not good because whether we're trying to be or not, we're always influencing somebody else. We're always being an example for someone else, not just kids, and like it took me a long time to get to where I'm at, where I'm in effect. Like my mom used to beat it to me about writing legibly and speaking properly, using correct grammar and whatever. But I'm not the grammar police. I will not be on your Facebook or any social media page correcting how you speak, because you might be from another country and English is your second language. But if I could read the gist of what you're trying to say, it ain't that serious, you know what I'm saying? But some people be on Facebook be doing that, and I'm like, nobody's gonna praise you for publicly humiliating somebody because they misspelled a word here or there. Like, it's not your place. And you could do that privately and be like, yo, you need help with some word or whatever you gotta say. I don't know. But anyway, that's not about that. So my thing is, like, I noticed, like, I'll give an example. So one night I was going to Walmart, right? And it was so busy. It was packed. Like, everybody and their moms was there. And I was leaving. I was at a traffic light. I had my windows closed. There's all these cars in front of me. Yo, there was this woman up in her car in front of me with her man. And she's like... And, like, her man is like... You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whoa. Because I guess, like, I could hear her through my closed windows. I said, wow, her voice is strong. And she yelling about some woman, I guess, that he cheated on her with or did something. She's like, and this is why I don't be doing that. I'm like, yo, all right, my little mama. Tranquila, okay? So, and I was just kind of shaking my head, like, that's so sad that she feels like she needs to do that. Like, that's, like, she thinks that making her look strong or getting the point across, but really it's making her look weak and silly. He don't respect her, what you gotta say. That's why he ain't tuned into her. He just hear a lot of noise like a barking Pomeranian. And you ever heard of the phrase, the loudest in the room is the weakest in the room? That's a true statement. Even dogs don't respect each other when they yelling. They don't. If you ever watch animals in general, if you're cackling, screaming, yelling, barking, shout, like, the animal ain't gonna respect you, because they look at that as being emotionally unstable, and they would be in the right. And that's how I look at people now, because I live with animals. So I look at that, like, even yesterday, one of my coworkers, I'm at a new job temporarily, and one of my other coworkers, who also just happens to be newer, he's very sarcastic. We joke all day, every day. That's how we get through our day. And while we're going through training, and he's like, you need to shut the hell up. I said, oh, you ain't talking to me. I said, don't you ever tell me to shut up, and don't you ever raise your voice at me. You bring that octave down. And he couldn't tell if I was joking or not because he doesn't know me. I wasn't joking. I said, don't tell me to shut up. That is very rude. Don't yell at me either. He was like, okay. And I have to set that tone early with people, even with women. I do it to everybody. I don't care, woman, kid, child, the president. You could be the president of the universe. What you're not going to do. If you want anything from me at all, you need to come to me correctly, and you need to speak to me in your inside voice. Because if you yell at me, it's going to fall on deaf ears. I might try to shut it down. I might not. I might just walk away. I might not even acknowledge your existence. It all really depends on the person, time, and place, to be honest. But either way, you're not going to get what you want. I grew up in a household full of yelling and drama and chaos, and it really affected me as an adult, and I just can't tolerate. Like, my house is quiet. I have a lot of animals. I will admit it now. I used to be in some. I mean, I just got a few. Now I got a lot of pets, and I don't tolerate yelling, screaming, nothing from any of them either. I will whoop you behind. I respect them, but I won't do that to people. But anyway, my point is that when you're having a conversation with someone, you should be able to have an inside voice, like the way that I'm speaking to you right now. This is my inside voice. But I have to put a little oomph in it because I was told that my voice sounds mousy and I'm just too quiet. But you don't want me yelling. No, my voice can be real loud, and I don't like yelling. And I don't like yelling anymore. I used to yell. I don't do it. I had to learn how to develop self-control of my emotions, and I realized a lot of people just don't have self-control over their emotions, and they try to use the excuse, I'm passionate, I'm just passionate about how I feel. No, you just lack self-control and self-discipline, that's all, and it's okay. The point is, the fact is that, or the hope is that you want to change that, but it's not being passionate. I'm sorry. You can disagree with me, I don't really care. It's not passionate, it's lack of self-control. Because it's just not cute to be yelling and carrying on all the time, because, at least for me, yelling escalates to aggression. Because once I start yelling, eventually I'm going to start clapping my hands. And, you know, for people who know, when you start clapping, in New York, at least where I'm from, in New York, start clapping your hands, it's going to lead to some in a minute, you know, if we don't calm down. So I don't lay hands on people. I don't want to do that. But two people should be able to have a conversation and be able to effectively communicate their thoughts and their emotions. But the problem is that people are always seeking to be understood before seeking to understand, and they need to seek to understand first before being understood. So you got two people talking to each other, trying to be understood at the same time, and nobody gets anywhere, and then there's more frustration and more conflict. Why? Because one person doesn't want to listen and hear what the other person has to say, because they're already thinking about a reply before they understood the message. I have a friend from college. I still think about it 20 years later. 20 years now? Shoot. Anyway, she said that people don't know how to listen and hear. And I was like, and it really resonated with me. And I was like, what? And it's true. A lot of people around this country, around the world perhaps, they don't know how to listen and hear each other when they're speaking. Because it's two different things. Because you can listen to somebody and you just hear noise, and you don't hear the message that's trying to be conveyed. And a lot of women are guilty of usually with men, trying to speak in a manner that implies a certain message, but they don't say what they mean. So the guy is like, what? You know, and then they think the guy understood and he doesn't, and then the women get upset when the man didn't understand her. But I'm like, you got to be clear. My years of working for the health department, that's where I learned how to be clear in my communication and not have any confusion. But I learned about what not to deal when dealing with people who like to yell through my dogs, believe it or not, because they don't respect anyone, their own kind, people or whatever. When you're yelling and carrying on crazy, they don't respect it. They view you as emotionally unstable and not a good leader. This isn't a dog world. Actually, this isn't any species of animals, to be honest. But they just be like, why are you making a lot of noise? This is like a negative situation. Let me get out of here, or let me confront it and fight it or something. You know, flight or fight with them. So, and I like that. They're very straightforward, like very clear cut about stuff. Whereas people are confusing. They got so many layers and levels to things. They create all these levels and layers. But so my advice, my point is, when it comes to communication, if you struggle with controlling your emotions, work on that first. When you feel yourself start to get hyped up, that is when, right at the beginning, before you reach your peak, that's when you cut the conversation short and be like, you know what, I need a minute, I'm gonna take a break. When you're having a conversation, if both of you all getting heated, one of you all has to be the mature one to be like, you know what, we're both getting a little riled up, let's just take a minute, cool down, and we'll come back to this later. That is maturity. That is emotional maturity. And to do that. But a lot of people carry on and start yelling. When you're speaking with someone, you're asking them a question, or they're just sharing with you, you don't cut them off in the middle of them telling their story. Even if it's a long story, whatever is considered long to you, you still let them finish their thought, because just like they're giving their time that they can't get back to you to listen to what you have to say, you're doing the same for them. So let it be an equal exchange. Because I have a friend, he began excited when I be telling him stuff, because whatever I say triggers a memory for him, and then he'll just cut me off and start talking about his story. And then he'll call it a conversation. I'm like, no, that's you being rude. I was in the middle of sharing something with you. It doesn't matter that it's 5 seconds longer because you're an impatient person. I could care less. You want to have a conversation, but I'm sharing something with you that I don't have to share, and I would appreciate it if you let me finish my story. Otherwise, you know, for me, the conversation is done, because I listen to this guy all the time talk about his personal life or whatever. But because my family, I have like family members that are like that, and then they'll be like, we're having a conversation, so it's back and forth. I'm like, don't try to use that umbrella term. We're not having a conversation. This is you being rude and cutting me off while I'm trying to express myself to you. So, you know, I don't expect people to agree, but I've learned, at least for me, because I get cut off a lot because my voice is not that strong, and I like to listen, but I also observe the person who likes to cut me off a lot, and then I don't talk to that person as much or at all, because I want to be heard too. So you can take that. Hopefully that what I said makes sense. I meant this to be like a 5-minute video, but I talk a lot, so my bad. If you made it this far, you're pretty awesome, and I appreciate you. Woo. I'm really tired. I'm very sleep deprived. I hope I make it through today. I'm so glad it's Friday. I've been averaging only 4 to 5 hours of sleep with this new job, and I can't function like that. I need, for me personally, I need 12 hours of sleep to feel fully rested, but in this kind of world that we live in, that's not really realistic. So if I could get 8 hours, at least I could be functional. But it's 4 or 5 hours, my body's shutting down. And with this long commute, I drive an hour and 45 minutes to work each day, back to and fro. So, but anyway, hope you have a great day, guys. And yeah, you know, I believe that if just even one person makes a change, it makes a difference. It creates a ripple effect. And so, yeah, if anything that government told me was how to communicate more effectively. And I think all types of relationships, business, personal, romantic, familial, all relationships can be enriched when people seek to understand before being understood, to learn how to listen and hear, to not raise their voice, to not yell, not curse each other out, not lay any hands, and then just learning how to be quiet. Because I think silence is more powerful sometimes than speaking, than expressing anything. Silence speaks a lot, speaks volumes. All right, man, I'm gonna stop talking, guys. Have a wonderful day. Cha-ching.